Hello, welcome to a new video. In this one we're going to go over how to add notes on reminders on your D&D Beyond character sheet. So what I mean by this is that, for example, let's say you have a feature that granted advantage against undead. Normally this can't be displayed on the character sheet. You'd have to go under features and traits and find it somewhere there. But there's nothing to remind you that you might have this advantage on attack rolls against undead. There's no way for the sheet to actually display that. You won't get advantage icons or anything like that to tell you. It'll be up to you to remember by making a note somewhere or just remembering. But there is a way to actually add notes here into this section by renaming weapons. So let's try that. We're going to inventory here. You'll see that I've done a different thing here. I'll get to that a little bit later. For now we're just going to go into equipment and we're going to manage inventory. Basically we're going to be adding a weapon and then we're going to customize the weapon. When it loads, I'm using a new laptop. This new laptop is a very laggy. Oh, come on. I don't know why it's taking so long. Okay. Be right back. Right, there we go. I think we're back. Don't know what the hell happened there. I ended up having a beholder error and stuff, so I don't know if it was the D&D Beyond thing. But anyway, we're here. So I like to use the mace. Because it has the least amount of tags onto it. Yeah, we know. So, for example, you can see that like a normal dagger has simple, finesse, light, throw, nick, range. But the mace, it just has simple and sap, and it has nothing else. So what we can do is equip it. So you can see it's under actions. Double click it, and then go to customize. We can change all sorts of things. So one thing we're going to do is change the name. Now for naming, the way it organizes your attacks and so on is going to be, it's alphanumeric. So it'll start with 0 to 9, then uppercase letters, and then lowercase letters. So to make this always show up at the top, I tend to put in 00, 0. You don't really need 00, you could just put 10 and it'll be as an A0. But this just gives you, because then you've got like 100 potential notes you can make, so you don't have to worry about it. And then to put a dash, and then I'll use emojis. So if you're on a Windows PC, it's Windows key and the full stop. And I like to use this emoji. It's classed as a receipt, but of course you can use whichever one you find appropriate. But I use the receipt one because it just looks like a little piece of paper. And then let's say advantage attacks versus undead. And then I like to put another emoji, but it's not necessary. And then in notes, when it lets me, there we go. Notes, I will do this. So I will bring up emojis and I'll put in exclamation. There we go. I'll actually put in just the one exclamation because it's thing. That one, not an attack. Click out, And then when I go back to the sheet, you can see the notice here, exclamation not an attack. This is just to remind you that this is not an attack, it's just a note. And then you go here. Bunch of attacks versus undead. It doesn't look very nice, but it is there at the top of your attacks to remind you that it's always going to be there. That you're going to have this advantage versus undead, or whatever your note is going to say. The reason why I use a mace or a weapon rather than a custom action is because all custom actions end up at the bottom. You also can't put in notes inside here. The only advantage of using a custom action is that you can change the description to whatever you want. So if you wanted to add more details, you could do it there. But the better way is to use custom items in inventory. This is what brings us back to this. So this is a way to, if you're going to have a lot of notes, you could put stuff in here, notes, and then just go to other and put in whatever you want here. But if you just want a quick, a bunch of these little quick notes, as well as to give it a bit more organization, you can use this. Because you can always change descriptions. So if you were to customize something, you can always give it a description here, which will show up. It helps to type properly. Custom description. Now again, notes won't actually show up, but the custom description will. So yeah, when we view it, so you can have a quick header here, more text here for whatever notes you want to add. Just makes it easier to organize your notes. And again, you can do what I do, which is making use of the way it does numbers and letters and organizes them. So the 0, 0, 10, 20, 30, and so on could be your category headings, like this. And then you've got your 0, 1, 0, 2, 11, 12, and so on. They'll fit under them appropriately. And to add a note, you can just click in Add Items to your notes. Add Custom Item. And then you do something here. So let's say I want this to appear under heading 2. I'd then put in 12. And then the usual emojis. Note 4 in this case. Emojis. The 4th note. And then add item. There you go, it appears under there. And to do this thing, to add a little notes tab as it is, basically you just add a container. I use the arms box from legacy content because it has 0 weight and stuff. But you can just add any container rather. When it loads, so say pouch. Very laggy. I clicked it, there we go. As long as you don't click on the box next to it, it won't add any weight to your character. Like if I were to click it, my weight goes up, but if I don't click it, there's no weight. It doesn't add anything. You just need to make sure to ignore that part. Again, the notes field won't show anything, but you can just put in here like what I did before. In this case, I'm going to put in more notes. Click out of the box, and then we'll update. And then we've got another tab for more notes. Again, these are going to be organized alphabetically, but I don't really care about that. Also, the equipment will always be up front, and there's nothing you can do about that. But you can do the same thing. So that's how you can do notes. Just in case it's a bit more way of organizing stuff. So you go here to categorize and sort different types of notes that you're going to want to use. Just a bit more easier. And then you've got your actions, which is what you're going to see every time. Every time you go to do something in your turn, you're going to see your notes here, and by organize at the top, they'll always be visible to remind you. And although it's a little bit messy, it does make it stand out more, which makes it more noticeable. So there's always that, and that's how you can do custom notes on your sheet. Thank you very much.